Of today. It's our faithful listener, P. Ilani. Hi.
Hi. Aloha, everybody. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jason. Hello, all the listeners out there.
You were on once before, but it was an interview with, who was it? Angela Kang, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited that the follow-up appearance that I'm making is actually on an episode that she wrote.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There's a certain, there can be a certain bitterness about her episodes.
Oh, I wonder what you're referring to.
Well, not just that Beth died, but the other big one I remember was the Randall one, and I just felt so conflicted afterwards, and I feel conflicted about this one too.
Interesting. Well, maybe we should get into it.
Yeah, I was thinking about having her on again, but I'm too busy. I have so much going on, but I'd love to have her on and ask her a bunch of questions about this episode.
Why so bitter, Angela?
It would be nice to try to get her on the podcast again.
Yeah, totally. That was a good interview we did last time.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right to it.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's our Deadcast Top 5 this week. It's our Top 5 highlights for Season 5, Episode 8, Coda, the mid-season finale. And what did you guys think in general?
Go ahead, Pialani.
Thanks. Well, I was trying to avoid all the social media out there regarding this episode so that I could have my own unadulterated opinion here and just say, my reaction was I gave it 4.33 pair of surgical tape scissors.
It's pretty good.
So it was pretty good. But, for a mid-season finale, I would hope that it would be a little bit higher. But, 4.33, I think it's solid.
I know. I always try to avoid the other podcasts. I made the mistake of listening to one of the casts that do instant casts before, and then it totally
colors your opinion. Yeah.
So I try not to do that. Yeah, and even when I go through and read listener responses, then I end up stealing little bits unconsciously from that.
All right, so what did you think, Jason?
I thought it was very uneven. I thought that it started out amazing. In fact, there were some moments that were some of my favorite moments in the whole series. But then, towards the end, it was sort of just okay. Not horrible. None of it was horrible. The scenes with Dawn, I don't love. I just feel like she's a good actress, but it's not. There's something that she could be bringing to the role that she's not. and it's like a lot of it was confusing too. I think there's some things about this episode that we'll find as we go along today that a lot of people didn't like that I actually did like or wasn't so bothered by.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not hating on it, but it just was like sort of with that such a promising beginning. I wish that it stayed at that level throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. For me, it was probably one of my lower ones, but I still thought it was all right. I thought it was unevenly paced for sure, especially for like a mid-season finale. I really wanted it to go out with a bang, and I thought it went out with kind of a whimper.
Well, it did go out with a bang, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A gunshot, really.
Yeah, which was, I will get into that, that particular, because that was pivotal. Having said all that, I think it was still, moderately interesting. I wasn't bored, and I wasn't mentally shopping for the holidays like I normally do.
What do you give it?
I gave it like 3.8 out of 5.
Okay.
So.
Wow.
Low for me, actually.
I find that strange to hear you say a 3.
I know.
Even when you say you don't really like an episode, you still give it a 4 of some sort.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think I rated it lower because my expectations as a mid-season finale were so high. I thought, if this had been a number 4 episode, I would have been like, yeah, that was actually pretty good. I probably would have rated it like a 4.3. But I really knocked points off because it was a mid-season finale, and I want something to hang my hat on for the long, lonely winter months when we don't have anything.
Jason, I don't remember your actual rating of it.
I didn't say, but I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So, not too bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting before we get into the top 5 that there was a lot of publicity around this episode, saying, like, I think Gail and Heard was saying, oh, this is a heartbreaker. And everybody was saying that. And I really think that that was a strategy that they agreed on for some reason, that they decided it would be better to warn us that somebody was going to die so people wouldn't get mad or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe it's an experiment to see how this would work.
I didn't like it at all because actually I was expecting something huge and it was, oh yeah, Beth died. Yeah, I'd been warned about that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I would rather, like when Lori died, I was totally not expecting that.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit, you know?
Right.
But this time it was like, oh, how is she going to die? I mean, I wasn't sure that she would, but you know, it's really actually tough to lose Beth, I think, because I like her as a character. But the one silver lining is that I was right. So that's cool.
Okay.
It's good.
Well, there's that, Jason.
Good to be right.
It's good to be right. I think the fans are savvy enough to realize that somebody was going to die. And there were a lot of discussions on other podcast forums that, you know, it might have been Carol or maybe it was going to be even Tyrese. I've heard Tyrese thrown around in some other podcasts. Yeah, I just think there was too much hype. And I don't want The Walking Dead to become a victim of their own success.
Right.
You know, trust us to continue to tune in and watch.
Exactly. You know, I also heard that on the Walking Dead Facebook page, apparently, the hours before the episode, after the
on the West
Coast, they gave away Beth dying, and
they showed a picture I heard of Daryl holding Beth, and it said #RIP Beth.
No.
Yeah,
you know, I was with my hula sisters last night doing arts and crafts because that's what we do.
Aw.
And we have a fundraiser coming up, and one of my hula sisters logged onto her phone, and she was like, "Oh no!" And I said, "It's Walking Dead related, isn't it?" She's like, "Yes." I said, "You better keep your mouth shut. Keep it to yourself." And we were all yelling at her the whole time. And she was just devastated. And I thought, oh, I have to go home now so I can get away from you and get ready to watch the episode.
I know. Well, I'll be sitting there with my phone and I forget. With an iPhone, you can turn on Do Not Disturb so you don't get any notifications.
Nice.
I forget to do that. And I get a little buzz and I look down and I see, oh, it's a notification from someone on our fan page. On Facebook, and I immediately make my eyes go blurry so I can't read it. And I'm like, get the phone away, get the phone away.
Get away.
Then I try to put it on Do Not Disturb while squinting so I can't see what the text
That's so
squinting.
But I mean, you know, I agree it was majorly messed up for AMC or whoever did that to post that so early, but also don't look at social media because you'll see it. You might see it somewhere else. Walking Dead is so big right now. You could go on some random site and someone might just happen to put something, or whatever, or your Twitter. Or definitely stay away from Twitter.
It's completely true.
Okay, let's get into our top 5. P. Lenny, you go first since you're the guest of honor.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so I'll start with number 5, and it was the fact that Angela Kang wrote this episode. Her trademark in my mind, as I think about what she's done with the show, is what I call H&H. She does horror and she does heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about the last episode that we probably can remember very well that she wrote by herself, or actually with Scott Gimple, was the season finale last year.
Mm-hmm.
She did A.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember
awesome.
How gory it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the neck biting scene.
Yeah.
That's sort of the roundup scene. And it's so intense. And so when I saw that Angela Kang was writing this one, I thought, okay, there's going to be some great gore in this episode.
There was.
Yeah.
What, didn't a zombie fall right into a machete?
Yeah, Rick ran past a zombie. I think it was Rick who ran past a zombie and its guts opened up and spilled out, which was
I really like that.
A beautiful moment, let's face it.
I really like that.
Me too.
Yeah, and you didn't know it was Rick until after the fact, right? You just saw the slash and the guts fall out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Machete to the face.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's great. Well, I mean, that's also one of the reasons why The Walking Dead in general is so great, that it's horror and heart. It covers a wide market that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I like both of those aspects for sure.
And another H, I like humor too.
Karen?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
My number 5. I loved at the very end, talk about codas. This was a fabulous coda. At the very end, we got to see Lenny James as Morgan. Did you both saw it, stuck around past the credits to see him?
Yep.
Good. Yes.
That guy is so good. It was really fun to watch him poke around on his lonely journey. And I love that there's more symbols in the trees. And I love the close up of the zombie a woman's head, and then Morgan says to her, "Shh," as he shoves a knife into her. It was awesome.
So eerie.
What was going on with her? She seemed kind of incapacitated. Is she just tired after all that shambling, or what?
Yeah, sometimes that zombie has to, take 5.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Looked like she had some chest pains from that door that was holding her down.
Oh, okay. So she was trapped, huh? Okay. That's what it was. I thought she was just laying there for some reason.
No, just chilling out.
I'm done.
Taking a break.
Okay.
He shushes her so sweetly, as opposed to Rick, who tells the dead corpse of Bob to shut up. And he also then he goes to the church and he sets up a little altar, and it's just such a sweet moment. Then he finds the map and sees the name Rick Grimes. So I don't know how he's going to find the group, but it was just wonderful revisiting Morgan. So he's my number 5.
It was interesting because it was kind of pleasant music, and he laughed. I forget what he saw that made him laugh, but he seemed happy to see Rick's name on that map.
Yeah.
And he seemed in good spirits. And last time we saw him, he was pretty messed up. He was sort of the model for what Rick didn't want to become, didn't want to shut down and
in Clear
become like Morgan. Yeah, in Clear. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not his
Well, I
little
felt like he
cameo
was
before.
Yeah, I felt like he was sort of dancing the line between insanity and sanity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it was kind of creepy and kind of eerie, like the shushing the zombie before he thrust the knife into her head. And then being at the altar and sort of laying out these things, like, were they offerings to somebody? Was he laughing at the fact that we don't need religion? I couldn't quite get what they were trying to portray with that scene.
Yeah,
Candy. It was candy, a bullet,
a rabbit's
and
foot.
a rabbit's foot. It seemed ceremonial somehow, but I didn't know.
He got the joke, but
Yeah.
we didn't.
It was well done.
Okay, my number 5 is Beth's death. Beth's death. That's the big event, and it's interesting the way she died. I wish we could have gotten Emily Kinney on tomorrow instead of last week.
Yeah.
So we could talk about this.
Right.
She didn't let on in the interview, and she was very professional about it. But apparently she was pretty broken up on Talking Dead.
She cried a bunch of times, but then she pulled it together, and then she cried. And then she pulled it together.
What made her cry? Just...
I think the thing that makes her cry more than the fact that, she was sad, of course, about the character not being on the show. But what she's really sad about is she had a job that she loved for years where she got to hang out with her friends, who these other actors and the production people. And now she doesn't get to go down to Georgia and have a great time with her friends. And that's not her gig anymore. And so that seems like what she was sad about. And I totally would understand that. I've cried leaving jobs before. I don't.
Tears of joy for me.
You know what she also talked about, though, that I thought was interesting is she's like, I also need to pack up my apartment and move. And I thought, wow, just think about that. Just it's this whole life change she's going through, right? It's so they're sort of mourning this change of what she's been doing for the last 5 years.
Right.
So she hasn't done it yet, huh? She hasn't moved?
No, it sounds like she moved.
Oh.
I think she's moved now because they would have shot this months ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because when she did the interview, she mentioned that she's going to be doing Thanksgiving out there with relatives that she got back into contact with there. And I wonder if she just made that up to make it more confusing, or if she flew back out there to see them. I
she did
hope to
go
believe
back.
the latter, yeah. But she did say, oh yeah, maybe I can do some of those romantic comedies in between filming seasons. And my thought was, yeah, right. So the title was Coda, which should have actually given us a clue that it was her.
Going to be Beth because it's musical.
Yeah, it's a musical ending. And so we were doing a panel with her. It's going to be called The Day the Music Died, which is pretty sad. So there's a couple things about this. She stuck those scissors in her cast.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it felt like they left something out because we see Dawn talking to her, telling her, you should be a part of this, like she always said. It's going to be important. And then the next time we see them, she sticks those scissors in her cast. It's the same scissors, it looks like, that she was thinking about jabbing Gorman with earlier.
Right.
And then the next time we see them, they're like in the whole exchange thing with Rick and crew. But we never saw Dawn learn that Rick had proposed this exchange. We never even saw Beth learn that. So what I'm like, I guess we don't need to see that. But what I don't get is when Beth stuck those scissors in her cast, did she know that's what was going to be happening next? And if so, then why she should be like, okay, this is great. I'm going to get out of here. Not, I'm going to put these scissors. Well, maybe just in case it didn't go well.
Just in case it didn't go well.
Okay.
It was sort of like being a good Girl Scout, always being prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if she hadn't have done that, then it would have probably been just way better off for her.
Oh, I mean, it was a dumb, pointless death, in my opinion. I'm so sad about it, but I'm also not really. I mean, I wanted to be more sad about it, actually, but all I could think of was, Beth, let Noah go back to the hospital, then leave and have it all be okay, and then go back and get him and extract him. I mean, are you really going to accomplish anything by poking Dawn in the, was it neck or something?
No, it was more like the shoulder,
yeah.
Which means it had to go through her clothing, right? So there's that.
I think
then it had
missed.
to try to.
She messed.
It probably
up.
hit a bone, and so the scissors probably broke. And
Dawn didn't even seem like she barely registered.
Right?
It was just a completely irrational move.
It was, which is weird because she's not an irrational person. She seems fairly rational.
Yeah, it was confusing because I didn't understand if she was already planning on killing Dawn, but it seemed like she had a realization. Dawn had just been trying to convince her. She'd been pretty convincing that she actually wanted to help Carol and that she, was really upset that those two jerky cops laughed about somebody getting raped and that one cop just beat that old guy. So she was exhibiting traits of maybe that she might have a heart in there. But then as soon as she didn't let Noah go, as soon as she made it clear that she was not going to let Noah go, and she kind of looked back a little bit it looked like that was to signify, I got to look strong in front of my people. So I'm going to insist that Noah come back. Then Beth had this realization, no, you're not a nice person. Everything you do is a manipulation in order to maintain control over all these people. And that just pissed her off. And, but still, it was definitely a dumb move. And it made me wonder for a second if she was going back to her suicidal roots and actually okay with this being a suicidal move. I don't think so, though, because why do that right when you're about to be reunited with the people that you care about?
Right.
So, yeah, instead, I just think it was she just had this angry moment and let it get out of hand and did something dumb.
Also, they probably shouldn't have brought up Noah to the they probably should have left him downstairs. And also bring up Maggie.
Yes. Well, Maggie wasn't with them yet.
Oh, yeah,
she wasn't there yet.
She wasn't there.
I don't think that the other group had found each other yet.
Boy, if Rick hadn't gone all crazy and killed the guy who escaped, if he had, they would have had a 3 for 3. Just saying.
It seemed like it was ridiculous for Rick's group to have to go up all those stairs to meet in that wing. Like they couldn't have done some sort of somewhat more neutral area to have this exchange.
Yeah, something out in the open, right? In a neutral location.
At least a little bit out in the open.
Yep. I mean, it seems like Department of Suspension and Disbelief where they're doing things just for dramatic purposes.
Right.
The only one last thing I want to say about this is people are upset that the death seemed senseless and abrupt, and it was an accident, and that's stupid. And that's the part that I think I'm okay with, because I don't want every death on this show to be the same, where it's like building up to this moment where it's perfect end for the character's arc and a moment of catharsis. And, I like it better when it's different. Things happen and you don't know what to expect. And also most deaths, especially with young people, are senseless and abrupt. Most deaths don't make sense. And I think deaths are a result of doing stupid things. And so this sort of, what? She's dead like that? Just like that? Actually, I kind of enjoyed having that reaction. Like, oh my God, just because of a stupid accident. Wow. That's a good
point. Yeah, that's a really valid point. I would add that I thought that, this was my number one because I thought it was well directed as a scene, regardless of the emotional impact of it. I thought it was very Ernest Dickerson.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it goes very quiet when the drama happens, right? Once Beth sort of strikes her with the weapon and then the gun goes off, but all you hear is the gunshot. You don't hear screams. You don't hear talking. You see Dawn's mouth moving as if she's saying, I didn't mean to do it, but you don't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you the camera pans to like Daryl and then you see Rick and everyone's sort of in shock. And then all of a sudden you see Daryl with his weapon and then headshot to Officer Dawn. I just thought it was well directed.
Yeah.
Can I ask, I had a hard time figuring out who shot Dawn. Who shot Beth?
Dawn did.
So it was an accident. Her weapon went off accidentally, sort of. So for some reason she was holding it in her hand, and so I guess when she got hit, she must have pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it literally went right through the top of Beth's head, and that was pretty awesome too.
I thought that was a self-defense maneuver. That's interesting.
No, because the look on her face was she was like holding her hand up, going,
"Right,
I didn't mean to do this."
No,
Daryl just
blasting your friend's head off.
Killed her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
And while this whole scene was going on, this whole like showdown, I just kept thinking, well, these are probably Beth's last moments. And she's about to die. Oh my God. I don't know for sure, but I think so. And actually, a lot of people said they weren't very impacted by it. And I was. She was there one moment and gone the next.
Did you cry like a little girl? No,
but then seeing like the red spot of blood on her head and her laying on the ground, and then you see Rick and Daryl's reactions, it really hit me like, holy cow. You know, I mean, not as hard as like Lori or maybe even Herschel, but right up there, pretty close.
Yeah, I think the Daryl Dixon crying face made me think about when Merle died and the whole thing that Norman Reedus did with that episode. It was so powerful with his crying then.
Yeah.
It looked like Norman Reedus needed a hug.
I felt worse for Daryl than Merle.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyhow, so that was my number one on my list, too, guys.
Well, it's your turn again to do your number 4, right? Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So number 4 for me was the officer. I've given her a nickname, Officer OCD. I really liked the fight scene she had with O'Donnell, I think his name was.
In the hallway with the flickering lights.
Kicked ass.
Yes. I thought she did a great job with holding her own, even though he was bigger than her. You know, they made it look like they were both trained. And so she had this one sidekick that was really nice where she kind of knocked him off his balance. And then he was just such a douche. I mean, he was sort of misogynistic and definitely a bully because he was the one who was bullying that older man, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He was a dickhead for sure.
He was a dickhead. So I really liked the fight scene. I thought that was nice because it felt like there was real tension and they were really tussling. I thought she did a nice job with that.
Totally. I mean, I wouldn't even say she held her own because that makes it sound like she was just barely hanging in there. I think she went toe to toe. Like they were pretty equal.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, she ended up winning. I mean, she needed a little help at the end there from Beth.
Just a little push.
Just a little push.
And an open elevator shaft. That's all.
Yeah. I when I hold my own, I think I'm
you're doing
right there with them
equal.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So that was my number 4. I know you guys know that I train in martial arts, so I love fight scenes and I love it when it looks like people know what they're doing. So.
Right.
Yeah, that was I thought it was staged really well. It looked like some pretty hard hits.
Ernest Dickerson.
I'd like to ask them if they got hurt.
And the flickering lights looked really cool too.
Oh, where are the flickering lights?
The flickering lights were in the hallway
as they. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. In my head.
David always.
No, it's all in my head. No, in the hallway, the hospital lights were flickering, and it just lent a nice sort of ambiance.
Ambiance for the death scene of O'Donnell.
Yes,
O'Donnell or the douche.
All right, is it my turn?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
So my number 4 is actually a really small moment. And that is when Rick had his meeting out in the parking lot with the hospital cops, when they were going to negotiate the hostage exchange. One of the cops said, "Where are your people?" And then Sasha kills a zombie, blows the zombie's head off. Yeah. Bing. And then Rick says, "They're around."
That was good.
That was nice.
They're close, right? He's like, they're close.
Yeah. And I loved it.
I like that too, but the only thing that really bothered me about that whole scene, can you guys guess?
That she took the shot and blew the zombie's head off?
No. Yeah, poor zombie.
That she's that good of a shot?
What, that the cops didn't look around for that? I mean, I felt like...
I mean, you saw them. They're right at the edge of the roof with their guns actually hanging over the lip of the roof.
Right.
And they're extended well above the roof, right at the edge. Then you actually see the camera from over their shoulder. So they're looking down. You can see Tyrese and I think Daryl or Sasha. And you look down and you see Rick and the two cops down there. Then when the camera turns around and it's facing Rick, you can see up to the top of the roof and nobody's there. Because if they had been just standing there where they were a minute before, it would have looked totally ridiculous that the cops didn't notice.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it looked like really funky staging where it was almost jokey.
Maybe that was the moment when they crouched down. Really low.
They're like ducking down,
right,
popping their heads up.
Yeah, I thought that was a little ridiculous too. They panned back up, and there was suspension of disbelief. They panned back up, and there's nothing at the roof. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it just didn't seem like they were very well hidden. But oh well. Okay, my turn.
It was a great shot. Good job, Sasha.
Yeah. Okay. Mine, I think the theme of this episode is it's just hard these days to tell who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, which is one reason why it was a little confusing at times. The girl cop, I don't know her name, but
Officer OCD.
Dawn?
No, the other one.
Oh,
the younger
one.
Yeah.
They said her last name, Lebrecq or something.
Lawrence?
She said, I know the good ones from the bad. Let us help you. But you look at these characters, Dawn, I mean, I think it's safe to say that she's overall not a great person, but I couldn't tell if they were trying to say that she was, trying to do the right thing, but seriously flawed, or she's just total psycho, and she, like I said before, she's upset that O'Donnell beat this old guy. She's looks like she's trying to put a stop to things like that. So
yeah, I agree. The series does a good job with things that are not black and white, things that are very gray area, and the hospital crew, super gray area. I kept going back and forth thinking maybe they're not so bad. No, they're bad. Well, maybe they're not so bad. No, they're bad.
Yeah, but I feel like in this case, it feels a little unsatisfying. It's not like I want the gray area stuff to be where it's like, yeah, that's how people are. It's more like, I'm not sure what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I feel like we were the victim of maybe too many edits.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, there's probably more character development that went on that had to wind up on the cutting floor, right?
Yes.
Because haven't they done season finales and mid-season finales that were longer than the regular episodes? Like, they've gone an extra 5 minutes or so. Like, maybe that would have helped this one a little.
Yeah, that seems right.
This one was
I think
actually
you're right.
a minute shorter, I think, which is weird.
Is that true?
I think so.
They fit in a lot of commercials.
Oh, wait, maybe not, because the Morgan stuff, they had to cut out a couple of minutes for the Morgan stuff.
Yeah.
The guy, Bob, he, at first I thought, okay, he's a good guy. Then I was like, no, he's a bad guy. But then he was saying to Rick, well, I didn't have any choice because I don't know you and I'm actually trying to help your friend. Then, when Rick rammed into him, I almost felt like he just felt like he couldn't trust them. So he was trying to get away, but he maybe actually was trying to help minimize damages for everybody, that he wasn't going to just go back and then prepare for an attack and try to kill Rick when they got there. So I think, and also everybody, anytime anybody referred to him, they're like, he's a good man. So I'm like, maybe he is a good man. Then Rick, on the other side of the coin, I think they're really trying to show us that he may have gone, you're not sure if he's a total good guy anymore. He says, for one thing, you can't go back, Bob. And that's the same line that Gareth said to the other Bob. And it's like, that's sort
creepy.
of a symbol, a signifier maybe of something. And then, we see Gabriel sort of feeling bad about the brutal murder of the termites and going off, trying to escape these guys because they might be bad. Then once he sees Bob's severed leg, he sort of changed his mind. Yeah. He sees that Bible, which makes him think, oh, these are God-fearing people. But then he sees the leg and he's like, nah, they're cannibals. I guess Rick's crew is okay. But it's still sort of, he's not sure. And then, I don't know. So the whole thing about who's the good guys and who's the bad guys was, I think, present in every scene in this episode.
Yeah, good point. By the way, did you notice that the Bible was Gareth's mom's?
Yeah, Mary. And I think one of the listeners suggested, oh, maybe he knew them. That's why they were showing. But I think that was more just to make it clear to us whose Bible that was, so that you could know that he was thinking about, oh, these people, these termites are, just so we'd know that it was somebody that we knew, that she actually was a God-fearing person and a cannibal. So she had some things that may be considered good and some that are bad.
It's funny. I said to myself, well, they're carrying around a Bible. There's probably not a lot in there not a lot of commandments that they obeyed in the Bible. But then I was thinking, well, they were eating people. And I said to myself, that doesn't happen in the Bible. But then I said, no, wait, it does.
It does somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
every sick and bad thing happens in the Bible.
That's what Christ offers up at the Last Supper. This is,
the body and blood.
Yeah, that's what you get when you get communion, right?
Yes, the body of Christ.
Right.
Yeah. But I bet you there's some like sick and twisted cannibalism in the Bible somewhere too.
There must be.
I think one of our listeners will let us know, right? Someone's going to write it. Come on, Internet.
I really just tipped over that edge, too.
I like it.
Okay, whose turn? Pilani?
It's number 3, right? We've already been through my number 3. I was talking about the Morgan reveal, and I just liked how delighted he was when he saw that the world needs Rick Grimes. You already mentioned that, Jason. How he looked happy to see that name.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. Morgan's fond of Rick.
Yeah, I guess he's tracking them, huh?
Yeah, but he better catch up because I don't know. If he follows that map, he's not going to find them.
Oh, yeah. That made me wonder. Yeah, is that going to set him on a path to Washington, D.C.?
Because they're not going to D.C. anymore. Because Eugene is a liar.
Did you catch when Glenn said, oh,
Eugene lied.
Yes. And the look.
It was so matter of fact.
The look on Michonne's face was like, shit.
She was like, oh, hell no.
Are you serious?
Yep.
She's like, now what am I going to do with these fools?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay, my turn. Speaking of that moment, that is my number 3. The group reunites. The fire truck pulls up, and it was just a fun scene to get them all back together. And I love that. The group actually reunited quite a bit this episode. Carol woke up. They almost got back, Beth. And the folks who were going to DC now have turned around and come back. And now they're in Atlanta at the hospital. So everybody's back together one way or another. And that was nice. And we've got a new cast member, Noah.
It's interesting that Carol didn't, I don't think, have any lines in this episode.
She didn't. She looked bummed.
Neither did Eugene. I don't think Abraham did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carl hardly said a thing, right? He was just like nodding and carrying his baby, not his daughter. Oops.
What?
Revelation. Plot twist.
Yeah, I like that actually. That Walking Dead used to go the opposite direction and have everybody say too much, but it's nice when they can have them there and not necessarily have to be talking all the time.
Yep, exactly.
Right. And Melissa McBride can act with her eyes.
Yes.
I mean, she can win Emmys with what she does with her eyes. So you still saw her emotion throughout whenever you saw her face when she wasn't unconscious.
Actually,
she was emoting.
And she got up from the wheelchair.
I know, right? Okay, that's another suspension of disbelief.
The neighborhood of disbelief.
I don't even want to go there.
She just got hit by a car the day before because Rick says, oh, Carol, the one who you guys hit yesterday. And she was in such bad shape, apparently, that they feared if they didn't get her medicine right away, she would die. And the next day she's walking around.
And even before that, she had a dislocated shoulder from the van taking a nosedive, right? So it's like double injuries. But yeah, she's just going to get up.
She's very tough.
Yeah. It's that epinephrine.
It's a miracle drug.
Who knew it was really the fountain of youth? Come on.
Okay, where are we?
I think you, sir.
You.
Okay. So my number 3 is this episode had 2 of my favorite scenes ever in Walking Dead. The first scene, going back and forth between 3 different things. Mm-hmm. Lamson scuffing, trying to get that thing off. that zip tie, which I'm glad because we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
How far is he going to get with that thing on?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the footsteps of Rick running, although you couldn't see who it was. And then there were zombies growling.
Yeah.
And then you got Rick gets into a police car, and that's like so cool because he used to be a cop.
Yeah.
And he's talking through the loudspeaker, as you imagine he must have as a cop.
A million
but then
times.
he runs over the guy, which maybe he didn't do so many times before.
Hopefully
as a
not.
cop.
Maybe not.
And it was just staged really well. And not only that, but I don't know, Bear McCreary's musical cues are getting more and more like traditional zombie films. This sounded a lot like a Romero flick to me, and I liked it so much that I pulled a clip. I'm going to play this. It's like 30 seconds. Scuff, 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 scuff.
I love how layered it all is.
Yeah. And
There's the synthesizer, and then there's the sound effect, and then there's the zombie noise.
And it all seems
really
to sort of
go together.
the music and
the
the
running.
sound effects are all timed together
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
in a little symphony of death.
I like the
Dun, dun, dun.
the footsteps are a great percussion through it.
And I just loved that Rick ran over the guy and that he was saying, please help me. And then he got kind of hysterical, and he was about to say, you're all going to die, Rick just shot him in the head and said, shut up. I loved that. I'm going to talk more about Rick later, but that it was just so impactful. And I'm like, oh, this episode's going to be great. Then a little bit later, when Gabriel is over at the school and he's looking at all the zombies inside, and they break out and they're coming at him, and he's like limping away. It felt really tense, and the kind of scene that I was hoping for when I heard that Walking Dead was going to be a show. Then they follow him into the woods, and they just seem scarier to me than usual for some reason.
Yeah.
Did they to you?
Oh, yeah. My heart was racing.
Yeah, because sometimes the zombies don't seem that scary, but for some reason in this scene, I guess because we know Gabriel doesn't know how to handle himself around the zombies.
Father Gabriel is such a fool.
But I'm so thankful for him.
We also knew he was locked out, right? Like they boarded that church
yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't go out through the door. He went out through the
Why
floor.
did he go back
Right.
underneath the dive under the church and pop back up like
true.
a whack-a-mole? God,
Maybe he didn't have time.
like a whack-a-mole.
But then he goes over to the back of the church. I think he maybe was going to do that because he was heading towards the back, and then a whole bunch came out of the trees. And I'm like, that's my favorite moment in The Walking Dead ever.
Good, right?
Wow.
Yeah, having a big bunch of them come out of the trees, that's a good
And
thing.
There's great musical cues here too, and I made one more clip. This is the last clip I made.
Sort of sounds like his heartbeat.
Wow, it's very growly.
Yeah, intense.
Right, and you can hear him the panic in his breathing.
Yeah.
right? And maybe the lockjaw
All
that's
that
moving towards his
together.
mouth because he stepped on that.
And he probably hasn't had a tetanus booster in a while.
Right, and even if he has, how's he going to get another one?
Yeah. God. Well, except that they probably have old tetanus boosters laying around the hospitals these days.
Right next to the epinephrine.
Right. The
He's gonna
magic.
have to go. Can I
epinephrine.
come up there and just get a tetanus boost? Sorry about that business that just happened.
Yeah.
But,
By the way, BT Dubs, I need to come back for my tetanus booster, please.
And how great was it, the instant karma of coming back to the church
Yeah.
and demanding
Let me
entry?
in.
Let me in, please.
they're like,
save
nope,
me."
sorry.
Yeah.
We're too busy eating all this canned food. And then the zombies forced their way into the church, and that was fantastic. The way they all just kind of poured in, and then you see a scene from the other side where the zombies are kind of shambling through the church, and then there's this arc above the stained glass that says, "He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life." Which is, here they are, proof of that. Twisted.
Do you think Morgan was laughing at that passage?
Oh, maybe so. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he's like the irony of this all.
Good point.
Ooh,
I want to think that.
Nicely spotted.
I only watched the episode once last night, so I didn't get a chance to go back and take those kinds of notes. So I'm glad you jotted that down, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And then finally, when they boarded them back into the church, a masterful move by Michonne, and then their fingers were poking out through the doorway. It totally reminded me of the scene in the hospital in the pilot.
Season 1.
Don't open dead inside.
Right.
So
that was pretty creepy.
I just love both those segments so much that I can't help but love this episode, even if parts of it weren't so hot.
It's nice. It makes me love it more.
Okay, Pete, Lonnie, your turn. Number 2.
Number 2. My number 2 is actually something you just talked about. The opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked how they started out with a very fast pace. And, you already talked about the sound effects and you talked about the running. But I loved, of course, I have a nickname for this officer as well. So this is Officer Lying Lamson as he's running. And I love that Rick is just like, okay, you just need to stop. And, Lamson's trying to say, no, I'm not going to stop. And all of a sudden you see the car speed up and just tag him and it becomes Officer Flying Lamson because he literally caught air after he got hit. It was so funny to me.
And then he's lying on the ground, Lamson.
Yeah, lying on the ground and saying, I think you broke my neck. Please help me. And I'm like, he's not going to help you. What are you talking about? And then Rick comes up, shoots him. And then he says, shut up, like after he shoots him. And I just thought, that's good. Rick is back. I like it.
And Rick doesn't seem very conflicted anymore. he seems pretty straightforward with his beliefs.
Yeah, it's sort of that Shane effect that people keep whispering about.
Yep. I really, my reaction to that scene where he shot Lamson in the head was, I love this scene, but I'm not so sure how I feel about Rick as a person.
Ooh.
And I really think that the whole point of the last several episodes are that Rick is losing it, that he's got a bloodlust going on. I said that last time. And that he's very quick to kill. You can see that Daryl tried to hold him back from just wanting to go in there and slice everybody's throats. And when he was holding the gun to the other cop's head, that he pulled him back from that too. But now there was nobody to stop him. So he just went ahead and did what he wanted to do, which was to kill the guy. And I mean, you could argue whether or not it was necessary. And I actually think that there's a pretty good argument that he should have done that because he didn't know if the guy was going to go back and get reinforcements or something and put his people in danger. But just the way that Rick does it with sort of this hard coldness now.
He did warn him.
He did warn him, yeah. And he said, you should have stopped. I mean, I would like to think that he should have said, stop now or I'm going to kill you. Just like I thought Carl should have said, hey, put your gun down or I'm going to shoot you. Just let the guy know, hey, you're going to die right now if you don't do what I say, because I think he was pretty shocked. He said, you're crazy. He was pretty shocked that he did that.
But Officer Lamson was not going to outrun a vehicle, right? So he really should have stopped. I mean, what's
obviously.
The point of continuing to run against a car?
Right.
I mean, I think
dummy
that he didn't realize that Rick was going to go ahead and run over him. I think he thought, okay, I'll just keep running until I can duck down an alley or something like that.
He still has his hands bound, right? At that point?
I think, he didn't get out successfully.
No, he didn't.
No.
Can you imagine trying to run at top speed without using your arms for balance?
It's hard.
That's got to be horrible.
You're going to try.
Let's do that at the listener meetup. Let's tie people's hands and make them run around.
Oh, and then first do shots.
Yeah, we'll just do shots and do that, and then we'll all go home. That's
hey, I wasn't including the alcohol. Jason has to bring the alcohol into it. I was thinking it would be hard enough without the booze.
I think that was Karen, but we're going to do that for our meetup for Walker Stalker Con, everybody. We're going to tie you guys all up and have you run.
We'll do a little
try to outrun us in a car.
Yeah, we promise we won't hit you, though.
As long as you stop when we tell you to stop.
And then I think Andrew Lincoln's doing a really good job of portraying this because he seems different to me. He seems colder and harder. And even when he invited everybody at the end to come back and stay with him, he just didn't look like the kind of guy that you might want to say yes to.
Yeah.
Say that.
They didn't get anybody but Noah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't really know you.
There was no warm and fuzzy. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And like you said, Pete Ilani, a second ago, it's the Shane factor. I've wanted to see how Shane reacted to different situations since he's gone, and now I think we're seeing it. Because I think Shane would have totally ran right into that guy and popped a cap in his head.
Yeah, right? And, because the man attacked one of the members of your group, right?
Oh, yeah.
He attacked Sasha. We didn't know whether Sasha was going to live from that.
I mean, honestly, he used enough force to knock her out. So
right,
but he didn't kill her, and you could say that that's a point in his favor. Actually, that maybe if he was a bad guy, he would have killed her. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how he could have. He had his hands behind his back.
Yeah, but he didn't. So it wasn't. I mean. Maybe he was doing as little as he could have to just get out of there.
Hollywood
I'm just
knockout?
saying we don't know.
Hollywood knockout.
That's what we call it. Every time
you get tapped.
Every time you just get like a little tap on your head and you conveniently pass out for 30 seconds, that's a Hollywood knockout.
I'm going to try it right now. Thump.
Now I wish we had video Skype going to do that.
Exactly. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have to say, I usually spin past all the commercials, but this time I stopped at one or two commercials that I saw, and I'm going to just talk about two, both of them from AMC. One was a fan tribute ad, and it was kind of cool. AMC showed a bunch, it showed Comic-Con, actually, scenes from one of the Comic-Cons. I don't know which one. And it was just really, really nice. It was like, we do this for you, the fans. Well, we do this to make boatloads of money, but we also do it for the fans. And it was just really, really nice. It was a nice moment. And the second one is they talked about a New Year's Eve Walking Dead marathon. So if you want to watch all the Walking Dead episodes in order during New Year's Eve, apparently they're going to start playing them sometime around then, maybe finishing up around New Year's Eve. But that might be sort of fun to do. So those things. And I also saw a great Better Call Saul ad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Huh? Yeah.
So excited about that.
With did it show Mike
Yes.
Ehrmantraut? Yeah.
It was really good.
Oh, God, I missed you,
It
Mike.
really whet your appetite for, yeah. They showed Mike. I was like, oh, whoa. I really completely caught my breath. I was so excited.
I know, wasn't it great?
And I guess he's a major cast member, right? He
Yeah,
had to be in every
yeah.
episode.
Yay.
Yeah, they were shooting when I was in Albuquerque recently. So,
Oh, they're
pretty
shooting there.
exciting. Yeah.
Of course
Did
they
you
are.
get to go check out the filming or anything?
No, I think they're keeping that really under close wraps.
Yeah, secretive. It won't be long before it comes out.
Nope.
Okay, so my number, I guess 1-2, is just trying to figure out what the hell's up with Dawn and her people. That's the place where I was a bit confused because, well, I wrote it in terms of what we know and what we don't know. So we know that some of Dawn's people want her out. And we know that she's done some things that seem good on the surface, like helping Carol, gotten rid of Gorman and O'Donnell. But it looks like that all the things that she does are actually selfishly motivated to keep control. I think helping Carol just might be a way of getting someone else on her side. And, just like she does with everybody, they go out and run over and bring back, and suddenly they're slaves. And then, getting rid of Gorman and O'Donnell. They were bad guys, but they were also challengers to her throne. But she did seem really upset that O'Donnell beat that old guy. And she does seem to have somewhat of a sense of like, oh, I want to help people. So I don't know. But what triggered Beth to go and stab her was when she wouldn't let Noah go. So she's keeping people there against their will. That's bad. What we don't know, though, is why exactly do these people want Dawn out? I mean, she seems to think that she needs to show displays of strength or else they'll think she's too weak and want her out. But I don't know if that's clear. I don't know if we've heard other people say that's why we want you out,
Yeah, it wasn't. I think Piolani hit the nail on the head when she said, maybe that's just a mistake that all the answers are on the editing room floor. I think that was just poorly done.
Well, at one point,
it wasn't clear.
O'Donnell said, your people deserve to, this is the creepy guy that she pushed down the elevator. Beth pushed down the elevator. Said, your people deserve to know who they're working for. Are you going to tell them or am I? And I don't know what that means.
Right.
Right? We don't know what that means.
Right.
Yeah, I think we are a victim of the editing.
Yeah.
Because they could have spent more time in the hospital. I'm grateful that they didn't. But I think we may have lost a lot of character development and a lot of backstory and sort of the details on the original captain of the police force.
Yeah.
But they gave us sort of drips and drabs in this episode, but I still don't really understand what happened with him.
Yeah. And
to your point, Jason.
Right. We don't know.
And also, Beth never mentioned, and I was wondering when she was going to get around to mention that she'd been kidnapped. I mean, she was sitting in the kitchen writing the little thank you note, and then she was full on kidnapped. And she never mentioned it.
Sitting in the kitchen? She was running outside, running away from zombies.
There were walkers in their house, so they were running out.
Before that,
they picked her up on the road.
She wasn't, unconscious or anything. They didn't grab her. They full on kidnapped her.
They may have saved her from being killed by zombies. We don't know for sure.
Maybe.
We don't know. We didn't see it. That's what they said. They said the zombies were up to your waist or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
I don't believe them.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe
Officer
either.
liars.
All I'm saying is we just don't know. But see, the thing that confuses me the most is there's some obvious, as we keep saying, douchebags. Gorman and O'Donnell, and they want Dawn out. So you think, oh, maybe Dawn's not so bad. But then when Dawn does get shot by Daryl, all of a sudden all the tension just goes away and everybody's all reasonable. And that younger lady cop suddenly takes charge and she seems okay. She's like, okay, fine. It was all Dawn, so don't worry. And then Rick feels like he can invite them to stay with him and they can go ahead and take Noah back. So then I thought, oh, wow, maybe Dawn was the source of all the problems and she was a psycho. I mean, it still doesn't explain Gorman and O'Donnell. So I think the real answer is that it's just not supposed to be clear. And it's that theme again of gray area. And we don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are. Right. But I just can't decide whether these people are better off without Dawn or with her. I think they're probably better off without Dawn, Gorman, and O'Donnell. And maybe now they'll be okay.
Well, it seems like, and there are other, It
just made me so apathetic about the whole hospital.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, get away from these people.
Right? Because you don't know. You don't know if you should be emotionally connected to any of them because they're so inconsistent.
Yeah. And
we don't like wishy-washy.
Yeah, or especially we don't like it when it feels like we just can't get a handle on them.
Right.
Like Gabriel, on the other hand, or even Tyrese, they're kind of wishy-washy, but I feel like I know them. And I kind of understand where they're coming from. And with these people, I just was like, what are we supposed to be getting here? I can't quite tell.
Are all the male cops rapey? I mean.
Yeah, or just some of them. And are the non-rapey ones friends with the rapey ones? Or are there different factions that want to take over?
And what is this whole thing about having a ward? Like, she's my ward. What are you, Batman?
Yeah.
No, it's a hospital. It's a hospital term.
Yeah. Well, the hospitals have wards, but... she was saying that
that's
Beth
like
was
wing.
Yes, okay. Exactly. And Beth was her ward, and then she said, "Noah, he's my ward." I'm like, that's creepy. He's not your ward.
Yeah, it's slavery.
Do you know what I thought they were doing there at the hospital when they first showed up, or when we first saw it? I thought they were trying to procreate the human race because they were all young women wards that they were showing us. And I thought, oh my gosh, are they trying to impregnate all these young women to have babies so that we can have... Isn't that very like science fiction, like disgustingness? But that's what I thought.
It feels like, like they had some ideas that got edited somehow, Like, because I thought it was sort of a prostitution kind of a thing, or that they were prostituting these women out to these cops so that they wouldn't cause trouble, but that wasn't even totally clear. It was kind of, but now that you're saying, that repopulate, that might have something to do with it too.
Very Handmaid's Tale. Blah.
I know. Now that we're all disgusted.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Okay, so I had a few notes. I think the situation with all these cops, the one saving grace is it is kind of like a Romero movie where there's power struggles and nobody very likable.